Hi, this is Alaska Central Railroad. Thanks for watching. That's not my name, by the way, but this is our channel, and we are here in our back shop, and we're gonna give you a little tour on our back shop and what we got going on here, and some of our locomotives, and uh, give you some behind-the-scenes info. So what we're looking at in here is we have three different locomotives, excuse me. So we're gonna look at our first one right here. This is 1551, and as you can see, there is no body on it right now. We are currently working on rewiring it and getting it a wireless controller, a 4QD setup. 4QD folks there in UK, thanks a lot for your help with this project. Thanks for helping Dale out, and we appreciate all your work and your technology. So what we're doing here is working on getting all this junk wiring out of here and cleaning it up. Um, Suffered a malfunction a couple weeks ago and put it out of service. And while it's here out of service, we're fixing the wiring and, like I said, making it a remote control locomotive, which will greatly enhance our work train as well as yard jobs. This locomotive is used quite a bit actually, and it's a light. It's our lightest locomotive here. I think it's somewhere around 400 pounds, somewhere thereabout. Um, so it's our lightest locomotive, and we like to use it in the start of the um, season. Well, it's really like tail end of breakup, when everything's all melty, and we can still run this when there's a little bit of snow on the ground on the track, and it's light, so we can get it around our potentially washed out sections of track, because we do have track over swamps and we have some bridges. And this is a wheelchair motor. That's how these operate. Right now it's in gear, and it's in neutral, but we don't need to worry about all that. So um, anyway, we're getting this squared away, and hopefully she'll be up and running next week. And we got the sound system we're going to hook back up, and she's going to be good as new. And over here, we have our 1202 and 1204. 1204 is the operating unit. It does have um, traction motors and chains and all that. And this is the main locomotive here. This is a gas hydraulic. It is a old Kohler Magnum 8. Magnum 8. Got a new carburetor and some other new components. She's been out of service for 2 years, a little over 2 years, and we got the engine back up and running. New magneto, coil, carburetor, some other things done to it. It's got a new engine that we will be modifying and eventually putting in here, but we need the motive power, so we're putting this back into service with the repairs, and this will be our main work train locomotives. So for those that are not really familiar with the scale or how these work, so you have your engine right here. It's a gas engine. I've seen people use small diesel engines now, which is pretty cool. And so that's the pump. The engine drives. There's Lovejoy. There's the pump, the manifold, and all the air hoses. And the hydraulic hoses run to the axles, and there's what we call traction motors. They're hydraulic motors, and they have sprockets, and they turn the chains on the drive axles. So usually there's some have one chain that comes off the motor, and it goes to a one axle, and that axle would be like the main drive axle, so it would have two sprockets, one for the both axle sets and then one for just the drive axle. Some of them don't have that like the switcher itself, where it just has the motor onto the on the main drive chain there. At least I'm pretty sure. That's the hydraulic tank, and that's where the battery is. So you can see the hoses. That's why I say this is the controlling. It is powered, so it has the hydraulic lines that go through and goes into both trucks here. So think of it this way: is like a slug unit, a mother and slug unit. Except the slug unit is the controlling unit. Doesn't have an engine in it, but it does have all the other functions in there, and that's how that works. So you can have these two. They're semi-permanently coupled together. You can see there's a drawbar there. If we had to, we can separate the two units and really work on them if we had to. And then here is a brand new build. Our member Dale Oliver. He's our treasurer, our gardener for Denali Botanical Gardens. He's all around real helpful volunteer here. Pours a lot of his time, his money, his energy into this place, and so this is his own little locomotive. Well, actually, it's not little, but it's it's what it is, and he's modeling after I think a Guilford GP40, that or a Main Central, I think. Not quite sure, since he originates from that area. He's doing something kind of close to his childhood home. So this is how you could see, and this isn't done. This is just a work in progress. And if you build these or you're around these, you know that it takes time for them to be built. For those that are just interested in this hobby or want to know more about it, it's not something that you can build right away. It's not like an HO scale model or a O scale model or anything like that, where you can put it together in a day and run it, or super detail. But anyway, so this is his locomotive, and he's doing it an interesting way, where the operator's car or the engineer car is powered. So there will be hydraulic hoses coming off of that end, and they're going to go into this car. And I believe there will be a control stand here, and that's where you'll be controlling, or he would be controlling the unit for this. In another video that we're planning on doing, you'll see some of our other locomotives that we have here on site, and I'm going to point out Jack Kleinweil's 3008. It's the newest locomotive in service. It's a beautiful GP40-2 in our black and yellow, or when I say R, I should say an Alaska Railroad black and yellow scheme. And as you can see, this one right here, this is also Alaska Railroad, and this is in a version of the original blue and gold that was worn by the SW1s, and I think some of the RSD ones, as well as the Baldwin switcher that we had here, the VO1000, just had the ARR on there. So this is our 1200 unit, and I'm not sure what it's modeled, what it's supposed to be. Got the two stacks. It's definitely an SW unit, but there wasn't a true model it was based off of, where Alaska Railroad, their locomotives were SW1s. But it's our railroad. We like them as they are. And here is our 1551 body. That would be roughly, I think, like an SW1200. It's not a SW1500, but maybe someone can verify that. I believe it's an SW 1200. So that's what we got here in our back shop for locomotives, and obviously we like our Milwaukee tools. And oh, let's show you another locomotive that we got here. I almost forgot. This is our Arlene Ruth. She's a 260 mogul, modeled for a 1870s locomotive, as you can see. And this is the first locomotive in Alaska in this scale, the 1/8 scale. Original builder is Jack Klingbeil. And Jack, you'll hear a lot of mention of Jack Klingbeil and his locomotives. He built a lot of them that are here. So this is the first steam locomotive for this club, for this scale in Alaska, Arlene Ruth. And over the years, she's went to, I think, another owner, at least one owner, and had her boiler rebuilt. It's recertified, and all we gotta do is put it back together and start running it. And we have a new member named Shay, who is really involved with steam. He likes steam, so this is going to be his project. It's good that we have a member here who wants to learn steam, a younger member who wants to learn how to operate and work on steam locomotives. So it's great that we have him around. And so over the course of the winter, she's going to get put back together. We do have one other steam locomotive that's in here. Can't really see it because there's stuff in the way. It is a 042, or I'm sorry, an 044. It's a brand new build. It's an old brand new build. A gentleman in the area donated it to us last year. Some of the other parts and pieces, and we're hoping that we'll finish building it and it'll become a representation of the Council City and Solomon River Railroad fornies that they had. Basically, they were New York elevated locomotives that were brought to Alaska, and they went to Nome and worked around Nome. So if you see the photo, the famous photo, "Last Train to Nowhere," or you see any photos of the last train to nowhere near Nome, Alaska, you'll see New York elevated locomotives, and that's what we're gonna go after here. So we have a lot of things going on here in our back shop. It's a organized mess. It may look pretty messy, but we have several projects going on at once, and everything's protected here. We have big old locks on our doors, and we got cameras, and so it's, you know, we don't really worry about anybody from the outside trying to get in here, and that's good. So that's what we got going on here in the back shop. I really appreciate you watching this little tour. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave them in the comments below, and we'll do our very best to answer them for you. Since I'm standing right here, this is a brand new riding car, and we have Tom B trucks going on here, and we should have this going here real soon. So thanks for watching, folks, and remember to please like and subscribe. You know, we at Alaska Central Railroad, we're a small railroad, but we have big ideas. After all, we're the main line through the Chugach Mountains. Take care, folks.